Hey guys, this is Juho making stuff, and welcome to the final part of the Bandai Star Wars Scout Trooper build. This time we are concentrating on the diorama. Alright, let's get building the base. I just taped a couple of strips I sawed to make the sides so that they could be removed after the clay has dried. Not there, I'm just laying the dash modeling clay and using some water to get it to stick to the base a bit better. Then I'm using some basic sculpting tools to get the clay evenly on the ground. The dash clay is pretty easy to form, but I wouldn't do any precision sculpting with it, or at least in small scale. It's kind of fibery. I guess it's because it's I think it's done from like a wood based or something, so it's not a like a real soil clay. So it has a like a weird texture to it. There I'm just cleaning the sides and scraping the surface, trying to do different textures and removing all my fingerprints. I'm not trying to polish it, but make it a bit even, but still have a texture. A lot of this will be covered anyways, but it's good to have something there other than a super smooth surface. Then I'm starting to build the puddles or the dents, maybe some granite holes or explosion holes. Then I'm just checking. I had an idea of maybe there was a 80 footprint on the ground. There I was just looking at the reference. I know this is off scale, but maybe it's a baby 80, who knows. A bit more puddles. I already have a composition in my mind, so I'm thinking about placing the puddles that way. There I just grabbed a small rock that I'm dabbing to break the puddle edges, just to give them texture. Some more puddles. Getting a couple of more rocks that I just picked up from the backyard, sticking them into the clay and sculpting the clay over them so that they look that they are in the ground other than just stick into it. Just a couple of rocks here and there. There I'm thinking, that's too small, let's make it bigger. I'm sticking the end of the bottle into water so that it will detach more easily, because first I tried it got stuck. stuck in there. So remember lubrication. Yeah, it's a bit bigger, but it's still not in the actual scale, because I guess it would be at the size of the whole base. There you can see some of the height differences I put in there. So the upper right corner is the highest point. Right, let's move on to the log or the fallen tree. It's just a stick my son brought in. I put a wire around it just to help the Super Sculpey to stay in place a bit better, and I drilled a couple of small holes there that I fitted with armature wire. I think it's 4 or 5 millimeter thickness. Armature wire is something that sculptors use to do the armatures. It's quite solid, but can be bent easily without tools. It's really cool stuff. And the Super Sculpey I'm using is a mixture of the regular Sculpey or Super Sculpey, and with Super Sculpey hard or firm, can't remember which one. Anyways, just to it's a 50-50 mix to make it more harder than the regular, but softer than the hard or the firm. Well, you get the idea. I'm just filling out the form there, and those who don't know how Super Sculpey works is that you put it in the oven for some time. I guess it was like 140 degrees, and it's 15 minutes per 6 millimeters. So you have to calculate how long you have to keep it in the oven to depending on your model. And there I'm starting to sculpt the bark on the log. It's really nice stuff, this Super Sculpey. It doesn't leave your fingerprints, but it's still pretty easy to sculpt. Then I'm just thinking of how the bark will flow around the branches, and doing a couple of holes, maybe where some woodpecker has been. I don't know if there's woodpeckers in Endor, but anyway, there's holes. Maybe there are giant worms that made those holes. I don't know. Baby versions of those things that live in the asteroids. You should. There I'm doing a bit bigger hole there, like a fallen limb or something like that. I checked a lot of references of the bark, and at work I'm quite used to sculpting bark, but it's CG, of course, but it's the same thing here, basically. Just different tools. I looked online, there wasn't really that much this kind of miniature bark sculpting tutorials, so I guess this could be handy for some people. I might do this as a separate video, so it's more easy to find in YouTube with the tags and stuff like that. So just scraping some extra details there, and there you have it. Easy bark sculpting with Super Sculpey. I know it doesn't look like the best like at the moment, but we'll get into it in the next part or the next section, like in here. So what I'm doing, I am brushing turpentine over the model. Turpentine kinda, it almost like melts the clay, but leaves it leaves it unharmed once it evaporates or dries. It softens the clay a bit and kind of takes the hard edges of everything when you brush it, and it gets pretty like a tacky or soft, but once it dries, it gets back to its harder self. There I'm just bringing back some of the deeper grooves. You can do really cool skin textures for monsters with this technique. It's pretty much same as using water on regular clay or torch on the oil-based clays. And there you can see it's looking a lot better. Those small holes that I stuck in there, it really helps to give a nice texture. So after this, there you can see, after this dries, I throw it in the oven. I just put it in there in 15 minutes and it was pretty much done. Later we'll add some texture here. This is the Vallejo sand texture. I just put it there, brush it randomly there to give more texture and roughness to it. And here's a little plant I did. It's easily done by just looping wire round and round and twisting the trunk of it, and then doing the branches. There's a couple of nice tutorials online to how to do it. That's pretty basic stuff. And here I'm just doing some base coating or base painting on the branch or the log. It's just some random acrylic paint tube, brown and yellow, that I had lying around. Just for some base. It doesn't really matter that much. Here I'm adding a couple of almost like random colors, and I'm applying them to the already wet base paint, so it will blend nicely, just to give some variation. And there's some like a greenish gray thing to make it more like a dead tree color. And also quickly doing the bush. Oh yeah, I put some Sculpey around the base also. Yeah, that's done. And let's continue with painting the log. This is pretty much purely dry brushing, giving quite a few passes to it to get a lot of color variation to it. The dry brush is really nicely picking up all the shapes of the bark there. The acrylic paints have a bit of shine to it, so at the end I will hit this with matte varnish to make it really matte. And then some light gray, so that it will look a bit more dead and then like a living tree. So this will be half buried in the moss in the base, and the scout will have standing on the side of it, having his leg raised on the log while he is scanning the surroundings. Then I'm just adding some green to the places that I will be covering with moss. So this is just to give some base to the moss. A bit more lighting color. And that's pretty much done. Looking a lot better now. I guess this was a lot better result than just picking some twig from the forest and sticking it there. And here I'm using just some PVA glue. I guess it was watered down a bit. There's some small twigs that I'm gluing at first, and then just putting sand to give the base some muddy texture. I didn't put it everywhere because I later will fill in with the Vallejo mud texture. Here again using some random painting acrylics just to give the base bing. We're almost done. You can see that it's not even opaque, because they're a bit transparent, those painting things. And just to give the base color, and I'm going over with a airbrush with a bit lighter color. And then I'm using the khaki brown to lighten it even more. I'm doing this kind of light spray on it, so it won't stuck everywhere, the paint. It will basically just stick on the upper surfaces, so it will give a nice effect of raised parts, almost like a dry brushed look. And here I'm just dry brushing some of the stones with different colors, so not everything will be this muddy brown. Here we are. This is the bush. I glued some of these the modeling lichen, those bush things that I bought, used in scale model trains, diorama building, and I sprayed it with watered down PVA glue, and just pouring the turf to it, so it almost looks like there's small leaves there. Trying to fix one of the hanging branches. Well, after that I clean up the base, or the trunk, so there won't be that much stuff there. Okay, continuing with plants. I'm just cutting parts out of some old beat up brush and gluing them on baking paper so the glue won't stick. So after that's the glue has dried, it's easy to pick them up and paint. Here I'm adding just glue over the log, and again just pouring in the Scenics turf to it. This time I was using the glue straight out the bottle, and really pushing the moss into it, so it will be like so it will soak into it and really get stuck well and do it like a thick layer. And here they are glued to the base. Those toothpicks are basically the places for the trooper and the speeder bike. Just that I won't fill them when I'm doing the grass part now. This is watered down PVA glue or wood glue. And I'm avoiding the puddles. And this is my mixture of random things. It's some of these Scenics stuff and stuff picked from the backyard. There's like a birch seeds and stuff like that, and small rocks and twigs and basically everything. What I think I should have done is do like a buffer zone of the of the glue and just put the grass thing or the green stuff only on some of it, so that I wouldn't have to like put the glue over the already glued green stuff there. So, but it worked this way also. Okay, let's take those out. They're sticking pretty well to it, but it's still a bit flimsy. So what we do now is we spray some watered down glue to get it set properly. I'm actually really soaking it because I'm using these leaves at the same time to try to get them stick into it. So these are cranberry leaves. I picked a couple of cranberry bushes from the forest and dried them, and then I dipped the leaves into glue so that they became really solid and like a coated. And there again another layer with the glue to get them really stick in, and it actually worked. They held pretty nicely there. It's a bit shiny because it's still wet, but you get the idea. Those were really the smallest. That's the stuff that I used with the bush there. So I'm gluing all these plants here and there. Those small leaves, were cranberry leaves that were really the smallest. So I had to filter all the smallest leaves out of my baked leaf batch. So by hand, I didn't come up with any other technique than just picking up them by hand, just to trying to get the scale down a bit, because the larger leaves were just a bit too big and gave like a weird scale. And putting those small bushes here and there. And this is the small grass tufts, just randomly doing glue dots here and there, and just sticking those grass tufts in there. Those cranberry bushes also gave nice twigs, so I put a couple of those in there. So they had like this weird shape to them, so that was really cool looking. So I decided to put them there. There's a couple of there, but they are hard to pick from this angle. There's one in the front of the log, those longer thin things. Let's get the camera down to get a better view. it's looking a bit better. It could have, I could have stopped here, but I really wanted to do the puddles, so I guess it would be, it's okay without those puddles too, but yeah, that 8080 footprint is almost gone there, but it doesn't matter. And the log is already faded out pretty well, the joining seam part. And here is the puddle thing. Basically I did like I mixed the Vallejo still water with a bit of paint and in a cup, and I just poured it into the base. But I think it got a bit too thick, because the instructions said that you should do like a 2mm layers of it, so this was way thicker than that, so I'm just spreading it with brush and the other places. Yeah, and came into the conclusion that adding it with brush is the easiest thing, and I get most control to it. I guess I should have done a practice version of it. Okay, here's one layer dried, and I added another layer. Then I just did just a bit paint in every puddle, and mixed it in the puddle, so that I got those cool like running marks there. It worked out pretty well. There's a couple of bubble holes there to be filled, so this was the, I guess this was the last layer of the still water. I made that layer clear to give it a bit more depth to the puddle. Doing these clear layers is easier because you can use the bottle itself to put the stuff in. But yeah, we're getting close to the finish. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the comments and thumbs and subscriptions. We'll see what the next build is, but here's samples of the final thing.